Hello, this is Thomas J. Linneman, author of Social Statistics, Managing Data, Conducting Analyses, Presenting Results. This is the SPSS demonstration from Chapter 1 on how to recode a variable. This is one of those processes where the first time through you may think like, oh my gosh, this is so detailed, I'll never be able to get this. But really, if you go through it just a couple of times, you'll see that it's really not that bad. Yes, there are several steps to it, but they're all fairly straightforward. What we're going to do is we're going to be working off of a variable called PolViewsPost. So let's look at that variable, PolViewsPost. There it is, PolViewsPost. And it is a 7-point variable that ranges from 1, extremely liberal, to 7, extremely conservative. What I'm going to do is create a 3-category variable from this original variable with all of the liberals, the extremelies, the liberals, and the slightly liberals coded together. The moderates are going to be coded into their own category, and then all of the conservatives, the slightly conservatives, the conservatives, and the extremely conservatives are going to be coded into one group. That will result in a 3-category variable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to transform, recode into different variables. You don't want to do recode into same variables because you always want your original variable to be there. So you want to recode from an original variable into a different new variable. So in here is where this is the first of 2 boxes that we need to be in, where we're going to tell SPSS exactly what we want to do. So I want to take the PolViewsPost variable and move it off the shelf. And notice it puts it there and then it says, okay, into what? Well, we need to tell it what the new name of the variable, or the name of the new variable, is going to be. And that is going to be xy PolViewsPost 3cat. And I'm going to label it political views in 3 categories. So notice I put those in there, but it's still saying a question mark. That's because I haven't clicked this change button yet. So I'm going to click that now. And there, it puts that in there. And now we're ready to go into the next room, which is the old and new values room. So I click that, and well, mine is very wide. That's okay. Yours may not look as wide. And here on the left is where we put the old values, and on the right is where we put each new values. We're just going to take it step by step. The old value of 1 gets coded into a new value of 0, and then I'm going to add that. It's the same for 2 and 3. 2 goes to 0. 3 goes to 0. Then 4, so that was all the liberals. And now for the moderates, who were originally coded as 4, they're going to get recoded into a new value of 1. And then all the conservatives, the 5s, 6s, and 7s, are going to get coded as 2. So 5 goes to 2, 6 goes to 2, and 7 goes to 2. Then, once I see that all of my valid values have new values associated with them, then I'm going to do all other values. So the no answers, or the don't knows, or the weren't asked the questions, all of those, all the other values become system missing. And I add that there. And it puts it down there. Else, so if it's not one of these values, if it's something else, that's going to become system missing. I click continue, and I click OK. And it shoots me to the output window where it puts in the code for what it's actually doing. And then we'll go to the data window and go all the way to the right. Let's go to the data window. Data view of the data window. I'm going to go all the way to the right, and our new variable is there. Now, notice that we have a bunch of numbers here. If I click on this value labels button, and I click it back and forth from numbers to value labels, notice my new variable doesn't, the value labels don't show up because we haven't told it what the value labels are. So in order to do that, we're going to go to the variable view because we want to tell it something about our variables. And I'm going to scroll to the bottom. Here, the new variables are at the bottom. Political views in 3 categories. I'm going to get rid of those decimal points because those always bother me. So I'm going to make that 0. And now, under here where it says values, currently it says none. We have not told it what the values are. So now I'm going to tell it, I'm going to click that none, a little button pops up. Now I'm going to go in here, I'm going to say 0 are liberal, add, 1 are moderate, add, and 2 are conservative, add. And those are our 3 values for our new variable, and now they each have a value label. Now I click OK. Now if I go back to the data view, there it does now. When we flip back and forth from the numbers to the labels show up because the labels are there now. So let's check. So labels, 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 very, very important. Let's check our work. So the way we're going to do that is you're going to learn how to run a frequency distribution in the SPSS one of the SPSS demonstrations in chapter 2. But for now, it's really, really simple. I'm going to go to Analyze Descriptive Statistics Frequencies, and I am going to run a frequency distribution of my old variable, Paul views post, and my new variable, Paul views post 3cat. So my original variable, my new variable, and then I'm going to click OK. And I have the same number of valid cases for each one. That's good. I'm going to have to do a little addition here. So these 3 numbers, the 110, the 473, and the 413, do add up to 996. The moderates, there were 841 of them. There are still 841 of them in our new variable. And then if you add up all the conservative categories, these 3 numbers, you will get 1,212. So our work appears to be done. We have taken the original variable, and from it we have created a new variable. We have given the new variable labels, and we have checked our work. So that is the end of this SPSS demonstration.